On the night of September 9th, 1982, Declan Flynn, a gay man, was brutally murdered in Fairview Park. After it was ruled that his killers would walk free, people took to the streets of Dublin in protest. Starting at Liberty Hall, hundreds of people shared their anger, pain and frustration and marched to Fairview Park on March 19th, 1983 in an unprecedented act of solidarity. It was Dublin's Stonewall moment at the beginning of Dublin Pride, paving the way for the first Pride March that June.
Thinking about Fairview and Stonewall as seminal moments in the Pride movement, both of them started because of oppression and violence towards gay, queer people. And as we think about that in our society today, it is still an experience that a majority of our community faces. So moving forward, we continue to mark the moments and the history of Fairview and Stonewall as a reminder of the fight that we've had and the fight that needs to be done as we go forward.
So I think the lesson from Fairview, it was kind of like our Stonewall moment. So it's a moment to reflect, see how far we've come and the importance of standing with one another in society.
The events at Fairview are important for so many reasons. It was the first time that the queer community came together to stand up against the senseless violence against LGBTQ people and also against women. We all remember the events at Stonewall, but it's important to commemorate the people who paved the way for LGBTQ rights at home.
Yes and no, I suppose. I do think that we've come a hell of a long way, but as always, the fight isn't over, the battle isn't over, so we still have a lot more to do in order to be inclusive and have everybody involved.
Many people think Pride is just a march and just a parade and just a time of glitter and rainbows, but it's also a time that we remember where we are currently. As someone that has just moved to Ireland and lived most of my first year here in lockdown and in isolation, I've been really thankful for the online community of support from the members of the community that have reached out and welcomed me and made me feel at home. But I also know the challenges that we still face every day in Dublin and across Ireland. Even for myself, there's still challenges when I walk outside in public that someone might yell a slur, someone might call me a name or harass me. And those are minimal challenges to the violence that still happens and the fight against the systemic rights of trans people. So we continue to get together and celebrate our community, but we also continue to call on society to change.
We've come a long way since the Fairview protest and the first Dublin Pride March, but there's still a lot of work to be done here. The Pride movement needs to be about putting words into action, going beyond tokenism and corporate social responsibility, and focusing on positively impacting the lives of queer people.
As we celebrate Pride this year, some things you can do to continue to support the trans community are always stand against online hate and harassment that occurs against trans women and trans people. Also, continue to support the Gender Recognition Act and legal rights for trans people to self-ID and be who they are. Also, stand up against the oppression that we face in healthcare. Help us fight the 3-year wait list that puts trans people's mental health at risk because they're waiting so long just to get seen and get affirming health care that they deserve. These are all great ways you can support the trans community and celebrate Pride by being an activist in your own life.
What we need to focus on now is making our activism intersectional, because for too long we've overlooked too many people. We need to make sure that violence against women, and this includes queer women, is a thing of the past. We need to make sure that people are safe when they walk down the streets and free to express themselves in whichever way they choose. Our goal here should not be to achieve equality within an inherently unequal system, but to dismantle that system and build a society based on the principles of kindness and solidarity.
So I think going forward, we have a lot of work to do. The fight isn't over, as I've said. So yes, we need to continue on representing people in our community. So that's gay people, lesbian people, trans people. Of course, we need bi visibility as well. We need to stand by our intersex allies and friends. We also need to do it on an intersectional basis. So I think it's very important that it's not just about white, cis people in Ireland. We have a really diverse population and we need to basically include people, whether they're black, brown, Asian, women, men, those that don't identify as women and men. We need to include people with disabilities, those that are visible and not, and travellers. The list is endless. That seems like a lot of work to do, but if we carry on the spirit of the Fairview March, I think we can all do it together.